Hey guys, it's XJ9 here, and this time we're going to be talking about RS3 and how to get pretty much free components in a very timely manner. And a lot of these rare components like Iljunkin and Zamorak, Zeros and stuff are very expensive nowadays. And if you aren't really doing much in the game, or like you don't want to break your bank, and you don't want to get like frustrated buying and waiting for things, I highly recommend this method on how to get use your scavenging for to the best of its ability. So first off, I'm gonna go over the inventory. Inventory, I bring 9 aggression flasks, 6 smoke devils pouches. Sometimes I summon and then just put an additional pouch. So it could be 7 pouches. Uh, I would bring about 4,000 scrolls with this inventory setup. If you bring like 3,000, I guess it's okay. Great. I have a only the reason I have a Grease of Elves is just because sometimes I go to my inventory to do something, so I just have it there for the sake of it. You don't need to bring this. Spring cleaner. I have this and set to dismantle bronze salvage and stuff like that, and it doesn't use any springs, so it's free components. So you might as well bring a spring cleaner. I have a captain's log just to do my ports whenever they're done, and so again, you don't need this, but I think you should be doing your ports just for ancient bones and stuff. I have air runes. I like just having it in my inventory because I have a lot, and I don't want to refill my rune pouch all the time, so that's why I just have it there. Uh, Spearweed sticks. The reason I have this is just because most of the work is actually going to be done through your familiar. You don't need a familiar for this, but if you don't have a familiar, you definitely need chroming 3 or 4. Uh, the familiar just helps a lot in the kills per hour, like in all honesty, based on my testing. So but you don't need them though, because it'll still spec decently. But if you don't have them, I would probably have chroming. But chroming is not needed, but it's very very useful. And that's pretty much it for inventory. And for gear, most important thing is you need a preferably a demon horn necklace. You could bring like the other necklaces, and then I think it'll just be the same amount of prayer. But this is a pretty high level method, so would assume you would have a demon horn necklace. Uh, Luck of the dwarves, just cause I mean the chance of getting HSR. I'm not even sure if they can even give a HSR, but it's a really good ring regardless. So might as well, I guess. I'm not. I think you can get HSR from, but it's just very rare. um, the other impo- well, first off, the other important thing is the weapon. So I bring an unaugmented orb, and this is an abyssal orb because it doesn't degrade, and a Virtus wand. You can get away with like an abyssal wand, and the reason I take this is just because it's using half charges. Because since I'm using only a main hand, it's using 50% of the charges it would use otherwise. And since I have a familiar, it's preferred to actually have a wand in a core. And this has only chroming 3. It's not a big deal to have chroming 4. It would barely make a difference because as long as it's chroming 3, it's fine. I could easily get that if I wanted to. However, if you aren't using a familiar, and this is very important, you need I would preferably just use like a staff of light or something, because if you're not using the familiar, you're going to be one-shotting with your autos a lot, and that ends up not making corruption blast and dragon breath like actually castable, and or in corruption blast case not even spread to other targets. So again, if you're like you're an Iron Man or something, or you don't want to spend extra money on scrolls or something like that, you don't find it worth it or something, definitely just use a staff of light with chroming 3 or 4, preferably 4 in that instance. And if you are, then all you would need is aggression potions. You wouldn't need restores. You wouldn't need this or this. So that's another way to do it. So again, if you're using familiar, use one core not augmented abyssal orb. And if you are not using a familiar, just bring a staff of light with chroming 3 or 4. And all my other gear, it doesn't really matter that much. As in, like, you can literally just bring nothing. But the most important thing is to have a level 20 legs or top, and have scavenging 4 on it. Scavenging 4 is very easy to get with ancient invention. If you don't know how to get it, it's Wiki I believe says it, but it's it's like a 1 out of 20 or something like that, and it's just 9 precious, I believe. And yeah, it's pretty easy to get, honestly. Just ancient blueprints. I also have an enhanced efficient 4 on it, just because there's no real good armor perk to put, and it just saves quite a bit of money, especially with divine charges being quite a lot nowadays. Best in slot though, if you had a level 20 top, would be a gown of subjugation, or like the legs or top doesn't really matter that much. But I don't have that, and I do have a level 20 Virtus top, but I have perks in it, so I just don't want to bother taking that out. So long term, I would definitely try to get like a Virtus or subjugation top or bottom level 20, because the higher tier the gear is, the more charges you use every hour. So it can dig into your money, but uh, enhanced efficient 4 is actually pretty good in this instance. Just saves a lot of money for me. And yeah, everything else is just like just you don't really need to bring anything else. Like the Tyrant Quiver is not even needed. It's because prayer doesn't matter. Just like bring like a god book. Have an Arrows Rose Gamor, Silver Rock boots just because it doesn't degrade. Lucky gown, a top and helmet just doesn't degrade. Just bring things that don't degrade. It doesn't really matter that much. Like you can bring a Kilton cape, a Max cape, doesn't matter. So since we have all that down, all that really left to do is where we're gonna go, and all we're gonna do is just go to Lumbridge really quick. Make sure auto retaliate is on, Revolution, and only need 3 abilities: Chains, Corruption, and Dragon Breath. And you just go right over here, go down the stairs again, and you want to run right to this light square. It's 3 above the torch over here. And you just stand right here, drink aggression. You would summon your familiar in this case. Do some sticks. And make sure your familiars, like, you would click right here, and you can set your auto fire, like there's a little chat thing, set it to 1. I already did that, so I don't need to do that. And as you can see, like, usually they're just dying in 1 hit to my auto. Sometimes my corruption will spread. But most of the work's actually be done by this familiar. It's just AoEing everything. So, yeah. Another important thing is I actually have airstrike set, just because there's no need to use a higher tier spell. It just saves a lot of money with runes. If you're using a staff of light, I would just use like maybe air bolt just to do a little bit more damage. So your corruption, because your last tick of corruption might not be able to kill everything at the end, just because it does so little damage. So if you're using staff of light, just use like airbolt. Also, you can also turn on your curses, so torment or affliction, just for more damage. And that's really it, guys. I've been doing this for about a week, and some through abyssal demons. But if you look at my pouch, like I had like literally only 250 of these. I've literally got like 3,000 plus of all uncommons, which is pretty insane. Like pretty much whenever you need to make something, you're not gonna be inconvenienced, which is really nice. And my components are pretty crazy. As in, so for instance, like my Junkin, I didn't get 130. However, I got at least like around 70 of these components. So that's a lot of money. 28 average, all through scavenging. Don't need to worry about ever worrying about how to make a lunging perk. It's got some Armadil, uh, Omen. I got like 16 Zamorak. All this is from what do we call it? Scavenging. Got like 8 knocks from scavenging too. These towers from that. Like, this is really good. And if you get 50 fortune, you can actually make a Luck of the Dwarves, which is also a lot of profit. Another thing you can do is make siphons and sell that as well. And the big thing that also will make this cost no GP is just these spiders will drop eggs, and you can just sell them in G for like 300k, 280k. And yeah, I mean that's really it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave. Them. It's just pretty self-explanatory, and I mean, I'll be honest. Maybe you can get more kills an hour using pet plus staff light, but I don't know. Like, eh. it kind of depends on what's happening. So it's probably like about the same, especially using familiar. So again, that's really it. Hope you find this useful. Don't break your bank. If you don't AFKing a lot, mobile RuneScape mobile or something like that, I would just highly recommend just doing this and just getting your components that way because you can pretty much get best in slot perks for free essentially. As in like this requires literally like no effort. You just need to click just so you don't log out and just repot. If your familiar dies, it's not a big deal. So, yeah. Bye.